We left Miami in August and moved to Tallahassee, where we lived on North Meridian, in an apartment complex called Vistalto. A ground floor apartment. These pictures were taken on the patio in the back of that apartment. Kate, of course, always liked to swing. And these pictures are on the little grass in the grassy area between our building, behind our building, between it and the building immediately behind it. And Kate had a wonderful time with the ball out there that day. She would have been about 14 months old at this time. And here she is with my mother. They were very close. And these pictures are again on the patio behind our apartment. Karen Linden came to see us again. By now you can see the weather's getting cooler. The apartment complex had some yard toys for the children, a little play area. And Kate had this rocking horse that was made for her by my Uncle Dan. Now these pictures are taken close to Christmas time. In the apartment, Kate had a little toy piano and a big stuffed dog, which are both featured in these pictures. This was a sequence that I took with the light coming in, the natural light coming in from the door. And she was having a wonderful time there with the piano. And her tea set. Looks like she's all set to play here. One of the things she always enjoyed was her doll carriages. And she especially enjoyed having her doll carriage to push with her baby doll in it, because shortly her mother also had a carriage to push. As John was born on November 27th of 1972, the Sunday after Thanksgiving. And here my folks and Connie and Kate, and we're all out walking with our carriages. And here's John, kind of in the shadows there. Here he is. He was kind of a little waif too for a while. And there he is, all alert now and taking notice of what's going on. I guess he liked what he saw. And he was just as photogenic as his sister had been, and is. We moved out of Vistalto in February of '73 into our own house on Coombs Drive. We had a nice yard, a nice swing set. And Kate, of course, by now was getting around quite well and using her swing set, her play set in the yard. Here, both the children are on an outing to McClay Gardens in the spring. It's still cool. McClay Gardens, of course, is a beautiful garden there in the spring with the azaleas and the camellias in bloom. one of Tallahassee's premier tourist attractions, I guess. And here's Kate with our own garden in our own backyard. This yard had a lot of azaleas in it. So as lovely as the vistas are in McLay Gardens, we enjoyed certainly our own yard and our own setting just as much. Had this wonderful little patio there on one side of the house beside the carport. There's Kate in the backyard with the flowers. And some close-ups of some of our azaleas. And Kate's helping rake. Springtime Tallahassee. And here's John again. John's always been very expressive. As here. I don't know what he's saying there, but it's something serious, and this must have been a good laugh. As you see, by the time he was a year old, he was really starting to fill out. John didn't walk till he was 14 months. Meanwhile, his sister was having a good time learning to use her play equipment, their play equipment. He was not quite with using the equipment yet. And his sister was showing him how. Looks like he's directing an orchestra here. Yes, definitely. These pictures were a trip to Miami at my parents' home. Kate's chasing soap bubbles on the patio. This is back in Tallahassee, back on our patio at Coombs Drive. This was a wonderful place for the children to play with their wheeled toys. And I took this series of Kate in her pretty dress. Looking particularly charming. This is 1973. Trip to Sag Harbor. I brought a lot of things home, including good china and a car-top carrier. I really pretty much stopped taking slides, but 1977, on another trip to Sag Harbor, I took these pictures at sort of the typical summer vacation with Nona and Gramp. At their house with all the cousins. Here there's a game, I guess, of soccer going on in the backyard. By now they were living on North Haven. uh, on Cove's End Lane, having moved out of Main Street. And this is one of the family cookouts. There's Kate and Mary and Karen, her biggest cousins, her oldest cousins. There's Joe, Sherry tending the fire. There's Gramp and Doris, and Connie, and Joe, and Matt. And these wonderful big Scavone family occasions that we've always enjoyed so much. This was in July, and this really was the occasion of a sort of birthday party for the four the children who had July birthdays. Kate, Andrew, Ann Louise, and Tom, all who had birthdays in July. For quite a while, Connie's dad, Gramp, had a boat. That's the old one. This is the newer one that he had, the best boat they had, the biggest one. We were out in it a number of times, and there's the village from the boat. And there was always Massachusetts Park with the playground there that we could take the children to, that they always enjoyed very much. And the trip to Montauk, which is something we do quite often. Here's Kate and John Angelo at Montauk. It's Ann Louise on the crutches. This is all at Montauk at the marina. Connie with John and Kate. This is the Hither Hill State Park, where we went that day with all of Lee's family to use the beach. Kate and John down on the rocky part of the beach. And that's the Montauk Lighthouse in the back. Kate's pointing something out to her brother. This was 1977, so Kate would have been 6 and John not quite 5. And of course there's always the beach there in Long Island. This is at the ocean. The children always like to go with the waves. Their Uncle John, there he is on the left, he always liked to go out in the water with them. He's used to the cold water. They really stopped taking slides and started taking Super 8 movies instead. But we did have these from 1977. And then in 1981, Mary came to see us, and we went to Disney World with her. My dad went along too, and she had never been to Disney World. Here's Mary, Kate, and John at Big Thunder Mountain. We had a real fine visit there in the Magic Kingdom. Here's the carousel. There's my dad and Connie, and I think that's John. This is in April 1981 on our back patio on Mornay Court. And John is building a birdhouse with the help of his grandfather's supervision, and Rowdy's help. And there's Rowdy. And here's Dawn and Gramp and Kate and John and Connie and Rowdy on our north patio with the greenhouse over there in the corner. And this is the last of our slides. From here on out, it was all movies and video. The only pictures we really have here on the house in Mornay Court.